Hello, everyone. How are you out there on the internet lands? I hope you are all doing exceptionally well and that you can hear me. I am attempting, at least at the moment, to use my cell phone as my webcam streaming device. And I hope my audio is good. Good afternoon, everyone. I am being bombarded with an ad. I currently cannot see my own stream. There is an ad playing. So anyway, hello, how are you? So what I am doing right now is I have my phone on a mount on a tripod on an extremely cheap tripod cum selfie stick thing that is basically going to be my camera gear for EggCon, and I'm watching y'all's comments here on the mini laptop, which I was streaming off of the other night, and Ardu RPG actually recommended using my phone. Now, I was going to get a selfie stick already, and when he suggested that, I went, hmm. So I looked for one that doubled as a sort of a tripod, and that's what I've got. So here I am now, just testing this out, and I'm gonna read y'all's comments here because that's like the big thing is being able to see your comments because like I can't interact with you on my phone. It's up here, and like if I reach up and just try and tap on the screen to type message at you guys, uh, this will go flying. The tripod itself is like featherweight, which is good from a travel perspective. But it's extremely cheap plastic. I would be shocked if it survived this journey. Um, so the net result is that to see your comments, I've got to actually look down here occasionally and see what you guys are saying. So hello to Great Old Ones, to Rob Turner, Kuchi, Paladin Steve, Kennick, Disciple of the Logris, Robert Phillips. If I didn't say Robert Phillips, hello. So my hope is to have a fairly easy streaming time communicating with you folks for at least a couple of live streams while I'm up in Lake Geneva. um, I will have my phone out there now. I can, according to StreamYard, I can use any camera on my phone, so I can do this in 1080p. I've just I've just got to make some arrangements, as it were, to make sure everything works. People were asking, what was it? What is the most metal part of Greyhawk? Uh, I would say the most metal part of Greyhawk is probably probably I use, you know, you think of stuff like Slayer, some of the darker aspects of Black Sabbath. By the way, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Um, you know, who among us, whomst amongst us could say that we lived as large a life as Ozzy Osbourne? I mean, anything that I could say about Ozzy Osbourne would fall short of the truth on either side of the line. Um, and so I will simply say, I hope that I hope that his family finds some solace. But yes, I would say that Ayuz is probably the most metal, possibly the Horned Society. Um, but that's just my opinion. Gary was not a fan of heavy metal music, by the way, or his favorite music was jazz. I once asked him something to the effect of, oh, Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath or whatever for D&D, and his response was that he didn't really care for that. He more went in for jazz and named off some artists from the 30s and 40s that he liked. So Blackmore is pretty metal, but my fave is Greyhawk. Yes. Well, I mean, Blackmore is coterminous with Greyhawk, the land under the black ice. If you read the description in the Blackmore section of the world of Greyhawk, Gary was not afraid of having the very cool. I'm having a little trouble getting centered. Here we go. I think that's better. Having the very cool elements. So the way I do it is the weird space-time energies of the crashed spaceship that makes up the core of Blackmore that struck and melted down through the permafrost, which then froze over it and created the land of black ice as the radiations have changed things. The warp engines on that ship are still vaguely functioning. So if you go up into the land of black ice, you come out in Blackmore. There are minor fiefdoms and kingdoms of people who have come out of Blackmore and settled in Greyhawk. So there are people and creatures of Blackmore, and that has created things that have gotten out into the world of Greyhawk. Just like my take is that mind flayers in Greyhawk came from the crashed starship in S3. So that's it. That's just how I do it. That's like my world legend kind of thing. Someone is constantly pinging me right now. Sorry, I keep hearing on my notifications on my PC. But I do actually want background noise. Like I've got a fan blowing on me. I've got that going on because the amount of pickup I want you guys to have or to not have is kind of key. Now, if you guys can hear me just fine, if I have another person sitting next to me, like, I don't know, maybe I decide to interview Alan Hammock, uh, you know, I'll be able to have him sitting with me. And of course, we're widescreen. I know everybody these days is like, oh, vertical video. I remember when that was like a sin. Like people will go full Donald Sutherland in Invasion of the Body Snatchers on people who did vertical video, and they should. And they should. Our eyes are not located here and here. They're out here. Surprised Gary was not intimate. Well, Gary was born in the 1930s, right? And the music that would have been played around the Gygax household would have been classical and jazz. That's what he would have grown up with. I mean, so Gary hits his 20s in the mid-late 50s. Beach Boys, Buddy Holly, stuff like that it's gonna sound kind of like Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga and mumble rap and stuff like that to old coots like me. Hang on one second, guys. Hang on just a minute, and I'll be right back. Sorry, I just had to make sure I wasn't missing a crisis there. And again, this is just an equipment test. Matt Sherman, hello, how are you? Good to see you. GPA, I'm glad you caught it too. So anyway, yeah, this is basically an equipment test. I think this camera works a lot better. I watched a bit of the replay of the stream I did the other day from just the laptop here, and I mean it worked fine. From a technical standpoint, it worked fine. Bless this thing. It does a very good job. It could only uh like the only camera setting that wouldn't make it absolutely chug was 480p. I mean, take me back to 2004, right? So I instead elected to try this. I was gonna stream off my phone anyway. Selfie stick or no selfie stick, I was gonna figure out how to do it. I'd have set it down here uh, on the front of the laptop. I would have just propped it up. But I'm glad I had the stick because I feel like I almost feel like I'm in a studio here, you know. So that's what's going on with that. Um, yeah, drive safe, Kennick. Now, I will say this. My dad was silent generation. My dad was born in 41. Um, and my dad loved uh, Johnny Cash. Um, he loved a lot of early 50s rock and roll, Elvis, um, uh, less country than you might think, but he enjoyed it more than rock and roll. But the Ventures, I mean, when the Ventures hit, the Ventures were like an experimental, all uh, all instrumental uh, rock band, you know, and they did a lot of covers. Like for years, for decades, I didn't know that Tequila was not a Ventures song because the Ventures Golden Greats is not, in fact, the best of the Ventures album. It's a covers album. Like the Ventures cover certain albums, so or certain songs. So I thought that Tequila was a Ventures song, and Wipeout. But Wipeout was a Ventures song. Uh, so yeah, my dad liked a lot of stuff, and I would actually play some rock and roll. True story, absolutely true story. My dad liked uh, the music for Violent Femme's first album. He didn't care for the vocals, but he was like, "This is a great three-piece jazz combo." He thought they were a great three-piece folk jazz combo. Um, and it's like he said, I just wish I just wish it didn't have the vocals. I don't care for that man's vocals. That man being Gordon Gano. Um, hey, Cuthbert, two greetings. Thank you very much. The Safaris, yes, that's who did that. Yeah, my mom was silent generation too. Well, I mean, my mom was born in 45, but my mom was not a baby boomer. My mom was very, 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 very late silent generation. See, my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, fought in World War One. He had kids very late in life, many kids. So so dad or mom and dad had very eclectic music taste. I don't. My mom would sometimes enjoy what I'd play, but a lot of times not. Um, she did like Elvis. I remember one night, I very exceptionally, extremely faint wisps of memory of when this happened, but Elvis played the Omni in Atlanta. And my mom, my dad, and some other family went to see, and we were babysat by some other family. I think that was like when I was 2 or 3 years old. So they actually saw Elvis in concert. And the opening act for that show, Steve Martin. And I guess back then he worked a little blue, and like that did not please a lot of people, which is weird because I also remember mom telling me that uh dad took her to see MASH when it came out in 1970, and she was like, it was a humiliating experience, a sexual comedy in there. Like she said she wanted to just get behind one of the seats and hide her face because of the nudity and the graphic sexual comments that went on in the movie. And they also went to see with my uncle Mickey and my aunt Claudia. They went to see Blazing Saddles when it came out, and mom said dad and Mickey were just dying laughing at that movie. So your dad, Matt, your dad was born in 1950. Listen to Nelson, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and 70s Southern rock. Excellent, excellent. But my dad would surprise me sometimes with what he'd listen to. He drove me to work one day. I worked about an hour. I worked at a mall job. It was like an hour from the house. It was not very convenient. But he drove me to work one Sunday, and we listened to the local college radio station, and they played. I'm not making this up. To our ears, to our Western ears, one continual piece of Indian music the entire trip. Like we did not perceive individual breaks in this raga, I guess they call it. And just halfway there, I was like, "Are we listening to this on purpose? It's fine if we are, because it was very toe tapping. It was very." And he was like, "Yeah, this is interesting." So yeah, my dad had kind of eclectic music tastes. Um, but yeah, getting back to Gary, yeah, jazz was his thing. Um, and I do get down on new editions of D&D because I should, because they're bad. But um when it comes to like people saying, you know, oh well, new D&D is silly. It's unserious. This is not a serious RPG. I would point you out. I would point you out to the Dungeon Master's Guide for the listing for Heward's Mystical Organ. It tells the DM, if you have a piano or an organ in your house, make the player who wants to use Heward's Mystical Organ go over and play appropriate songs. Fly Me to the Moon, I've Got You Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, That Old Black Magic, so on and etc., to try and make Heward's Mystical Organ do things. Or if you don't have a musical instrument, make them hum or sing those songs. So yeah, no Beatles tunes, mind you. We had a Ford F-250 that had my dad's tape player, had a tape player in it. I remember we got that truck new. We got a great deal on that truck. That was about as basic of a vehicle as you could own. It had air conditioning and a stereo. That was it. You wanted to roll the windows down, you cranked them down. That was it. Stereo, air conditioning, and um uh oh, automatic transmission. It did have an automatic transmission. It was not a manual. Hey, Liz. I know I'm devastated about Ozzy too. Um, but it pissed my dad off to no end because my uncle something had let me explain something to you about living in Florida. Um, I I watch a lot of car resto videos, and to squeeze a little bit of horsepower out of the muscle cars that they have, like that they rescue, a lot of times, like one of the first things they'll do is chop saw, remove the AC compressor, loop the core, or just put a blanking plate on the firewall, and that's it. That's it. It's done. You cannot do that in Florida. If a car had AC, if I was doing car resto, the car would have AC again. If it was a really, really old car, there are companies that make resto ACs that they work on the new stuff. They're much smaller units that bolt to the firewall. Very neat stuff. You have to have air conditioning in your car in Florida from April to October. November, December, January, February, March, and then maybe not March and maybe not November. You have to have air conditioning in your car. Um, so when we got this truck, it was one of the first vehicles we ever had that had working factory air. It did not blow a haze of engine oil and cigarette smelling, damp, muggy. Like it's cool for a couple of seconds, and then it's the same temperature as the air outside. Factory air, absolutely loved it. Um, and something happened to it. The electrical system. I remember there was a connector, there was a junction under the dash because I remember I came out one day and I saw it and was hanging down and it very clearly had melted and burned parts. Something happened to it, and my dad said, um, I'm going to take this back to the dealership. And my uncle, who was very bullheaded, pardon me a moment, guys. Is this? I need power. Okay, that's USB-C. That's not going to work. Give me just a minute, guys. Just trying to get some power to the little laptop here because it's complete. Again, this is just a test. Anyway, so my my uncle said, no, 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 don't bother with the dealership. I'll take that over to this guy that I know. And he'll take care of it. He'll fix this. Well, long story short, the guy broke it worse. Hey, Kabuki. Hey, sweetie. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you're I hope you're feeling well. There we go. I got power now. So the guy, um, he he broke it work like it worked for the day when I was in school. And when I came out, like I said, I saw the melted plastic connector. My mom was furious. My dad took the truck back to the dealer, and basically, the guy that my uncle knew voided the fucking warranty. Oh, I dropped an F bomb. Somebody will have to super me. I don't want to get demonetized, guys. So yeah, my ever helpful uncle voided the warranty, and like for 6 months and then one extraneous half day, the truck had factory air, and never again after that. My dad was a little upset, to say the least, because riding around in an all steel truck in Florida summers with no AC, pretty much like sitting inside an oven. So the saga of dad's truck, but it had a tape player. It had a tape player, and dad, later in life, he enjoyed gospel. So many, so much gospel. He would come and visit me at work at Musicland, and then later when I worked at Best Buy, he would come. And when I saw him coming, he was always looking to replace or find out if there was a new Sandy Patty album. He loved Sandy Patty or the Gaithers, or just whoever, whatever gospel. Swamp Cooler Swear Jar. Thank you. Thank you, Rob Turner. Like I went to click on it, then I'm like, oh wait, I'm not in admin mode. So thank you for that, super Rob. Um, but anyway, what else is going on? Yeah, no, this is literally just a test, and I think everything works because you guys can hear me fine. I can hear me fine. Um, and I wish Mrs. the Dungeon Delver was home, because I would have her come sit or stand next to me and see if you guys could hear and see her just fine. So what I will be doing is I'll have at least a few guests on my live stream. I'm going to try and get Paul. I'm going to try and get Alan, not Paul Allen. Let's see you get reservations at Dorsia now. No. I will try to get Heidi and Eric, of course, on the show, and anyone else that I can coerce, corner, grab, cajole, jostle, annoy, bring to me, and we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. And now that I have a selfie stick, that's what this is. This is not wired or anything. I can pick this up and move this about. It's just a plastic thing. Hopefully I can put this down and it not fall over. There we go. But yeah, I'll be roaming around AgCon. It's a smaller convention, so I'm not sure how much roaming around. It's not going to be like GaryCon, where it's going to be up and down aisles and out on concourses and meeting people. I think it's going to be a smaller thing, but that's cool. You know, I felt a little overwhelmed at GaryCon the last time I went. It was like, oh my God, there's so much stuff to do, and it's so jam packed with people. But I like, like, you know, I saw Arnie Gygax there. I saw Jim Ward there in passing. That was nice. That was 2023. You know, the artist Darlene had a table there. So there was lots of fun stuff to do. There was almost too much fun stuff to do and too much money to spend, right? You know, you go by the table and you're like, ooh, do I need another True First Monster Manual? Should I buy that? Because, you know, there's Noble Knight, and it's like, yeah, we've got a, you know, we've got a Mold Vey basic set still in shrink, never been opened. $300. And I'm like, I should have gotten more rare stuff while I was up there, but there was the process of bringing it. Like if I had gotten one of the Mold Vey sets and then gotten it home and had gotten squished in the luggage, I would have been devastated. That would have been like the icing on the cake for our trip. back to Orlando after GaryCon in 2023. Everything up there was lovely. Delta sucked on ice on the way back. Something must be wrong. It's working just fine. Oh, I missed your goodbye. Take care, Kabuki. Be well. So, oh, you guys are talking about the yeah. So I gotta get rid of that stupid thing if I'm being honest with you. That is a classic. Uh, like when Crunchberries first came out in the 70s, I guess to celebrate the 40th anniversary of it or something a number of years ago, General Mills or whoever makes this stuff, um, they they issued the classic boxes. I bought one, I ate it, and I've kept the box. It's stupid. I should get rid of it. Yeah, I hope there's like 600 people there. You know, that's like perfect for me. I went to the Lake Geneva gaming conventions. I went to three of them. The first one I went to, I felt like it was a little too small. And I'll tell you something. This is not a criticism. This is just an observation. The con was very much for TSR alumni and people who wanted to be in their presence. I felt weird at the first Lake Geneva Gaming Convention I went to. I felt out of place. I felt like, you know, oh, who are you? You know, I felt like I was butting in on somebody else's gaming event. I was a little bit looser, a little bit more relaxed when I went to the second one. And we actually hung around with Gary some, and that was a lot of fun. And of course, he passed just before the third one we were going to. And that was more gaming and vacationy kind of stuff for us. And until I went to GaryCon in 2018, yeah, so there was like a 12-year gap, 11-year gap maybe between those two Wisconsin trips, and then I went in 2018, and then again in 2023, and now I'm going again in 2025. So you have the Count Chocula box. Yay! But anyway, guys, that about does it. I've got stuff I've got to get to. This is not the Tuesday live stream that you are looking for. It is not the Tuesday live stream. All this is a test. This is literally just me saying hello, making sure that this works, making sure that I can see your comments down on the laptop, and it does, and I can. So yeah, that's about going to do it for me, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for making sure this stuff works. I've got to get everything charged up tonight uh, before tomorrow. I'm going to be taking a battery bank with me so I can keep this laptop going and my phone going at the same time, possibly more. Who knows? But yeah, I was thinking like I would be taking. Can I grab it? I have. Of course, I can't see it, but I have this mini PC that's like it's like that, and it's a square. And I honestly thought about taking it and a portable monitor up to Lake Geneva with me, um, but it did not it did not it did not work out, Mark. And the battery just died over here, despite me having it plugged in, and I thought it was charging. So I will go ahead and leave it with that. I love you all. I will be back this evening, and we will play some first edition AD&D. You guys take care of yourselves. and I'll see you then. Thanks for the super. Ciao.